Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. Yes. All right, so we're gonna wait a few minutes. Let some people get in the chat, then we're gonna go ahead and get it rolling. All right. So we got a pretty good show for you here tonight. But before we get started, and we're going to talk some John Sally on LeBron James. Very interesting comments from him on Gil's Arena. We're going to talk Dak Prescott and his contract situation, and we're going to get to all of that. But before we do, you know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. All right. So a couple of quick notes before the sports, and we'll get to that in a second. We are close to reaching our goal for this month of reaching 2,000 subscribers on the channel, and we are desperately trying to reach that before the end of this month. So we got a few days left. So make sure you're not only liking the videos, subscribing to the channels, but if you're enjoying the content that we're putting out there, please make sure you go ahead and share the channel with other people you know that might want to hear a different voice on these major sports topics. All right. And secondly, I know this is a long weekend and we're celebrating Memorial Day on Monday. So I just want to take a second to talk about that. As a United States Army veteran, Memorial Day is definitely important to me. We know how many amazing people have given their lives, made the ultimate sacrifice in service to this great nation. And so I just wanted to go ahead and I wanted to take a moment to just have some silence real quick and just pay homage to those. A lot of people get Memorial Day and Veterans Day mixed up, but Memorial Day is for our fallen, those we've lost in the line of service. So a moment of silence for all of them. All right. So let's get right to it, man. I just want to, I didn't put this on the rundown, but this was something I had a couple thoughts on. And I just wanted to do a quick hit from the Mavs and the Timberwolves last night, NBA Western Conference Finals. So first, let me say this, right? Luka hit that game winner. That was an incredible shot and an incredible finish to an incredible game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. And I'm embarrassed to say, as someone who is purports himself to be a sports journalist, that I didn't even see it. And why didn't I see it? Because once the Timberwolves went up by 18 points with that defense that they have, I assumed the game was over. Honestly, best defense in the league all year long. I assumed the game was over, and I was tired, so I went to bed. I said, all right, cool. I'll check out the highlights and everything else and what happened the rest of the way in the morning. I wake up in the morning and find out Luka hit an all-time great clutch shot to finish a comeback an 18-point comeback by the Dallas Mavericks. Crazy, right? And man, what can you say about it? So let's go ahead and look at that, and then I'll give a couple thoughts on it, and then we'll go ahead and get to the other main topics of the show today.
Doncic has the ball, down by 2. There's the switch. Gobert is out there. Doncic maneuvers for the lead. Got it! What a shot! Dallas has taken the lead.
Long time, and it's only a 1-point lead here, but that's just Rudy Gobert in an impossible situation. I don't totally understand. I know they wanted to switch back with McDaniel.
Wow. So before I get into my thoughts on this and my couple quick notes, is there anyone better on a big shot call than Kevin Harlan, right? It's got to be, of course, you have Marv Albert, who is retired now, but he had the famous yes. And then, of course, there's Mike Breen with the bang. And then, of course, we've got Kevin Harlan. He doesn't have a signature phrase, but when he calls a big shot, it just feels big, man. Kevin Harlan, he's one of the great ones when it comes to play-by-play. Love hearing him call a game. Anyway, I have a couple questions, or three questions on this. Two questions on what we just saw. So the first one is this. Um, Go back and look at that screen. I'm not going to play it again, but the screen that was set to force the switch of Rudy Gobert onto Luka Doncic. I think it was either Green or Lively set that screen, and he literally pushed the defender from the hash mark, I'm sorry, to the top of the circle. I mean, I know it's the playoffs and the officials are letting them play, and I love the physicality, but that was ridiculous. That was like a block from an offensive lineman in the NFL, how far he pushed him. It looked like a good 5 yards after that screen. I'm like, come on, man. That was ridiculous. Okay. Number two, something I love about the T-Wolves defense that I've kind of been seeing and watching is that they normally don't switch on the pick and roll. Um, the help defender generally shows hard, but just long enough for the original defender to get back onto their original assignment. Kind of how we were all taught to play pick and roll or screen and roll defense back in the day. They weren't switching everything, because switching everything leaves you susceptible to a mismatch like we saw. So I love the fact that the T-Wolves, like in that case, Rudy Gobert, he shows, and then in most cases, the original defender would get back. Now, why why would you allow Rudy Gobert, defensive player of the year or not, to get caught up in that situation when everyone knows he's a liability in the pick and roll? Now, Rudy Gobert is a rebounder, he is a shot blocker, he is an anchor for a defense, but you don't put him out there on one of the best perimeter players in the league to try and guard him one-on-one. That was terrible. And I just don't get it. Like, that was poor coaching to me. And maybe that dirty screen was what kept the original defender from getting back to Luka. I really don't know, but that was a terrible situation. And Rudy Gobert ends up getting put in the blender. Like, he almost fell with what Luka was doing. And then Luka makes an incredible game-winning shot. So, man, some people call him Luka Legend in comparison to Larry Legend. Well, he hasn't done enough yet, in my estimation, to earn that moniker, but he's getting there. And if he wins a championship this year, all of a sudden things are going to change. And the league has they've wanted to see Luka kind of scale that mountain pretty much since he's come into the NBA. But if he should pull it off this year, especially with Jokic out of the way, that's going to be something. So can't wait to see it. That's very interesting.